Happy Tuesday, everyone. I know I say this every time, but I can't believe how quickly these Tuesdays roll around. My name is Sherry Minnie. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Colorado in a small town of Keansburg. It's a very small rural town. Today I'm going to do a card that we actually did in my class last week, and I made it into a sympathy card because unfortunately I've had a need for those here lately. But today I'm going to show you the versatility of this set, and we're going to turn it into, I think I'm going to do a Mother's Day card, although you could do a hello card, you can do a thanks card, you could just do any occasion with this card. And it's pretty quick and simple and very pretty stamp set. And actually I forgot to bring the stamp set over here, but it's the Country Bouquet stamp set, and it is featured in the January to April 2023 mini catalog, which will run until the end of April. So the colors that we're using today are Polished Pink, Melon Mambo, and Granny Apple Green. On my last week in class, we did the purples and the greens. Today I'm doing pinks and greens. Also part of the Country Bouquet bundle is this punch, and we will be using this punch to punch out a heart. We'll also be using some embellishments. I think these are in the big catalog, which will last until, again, the end of April, I think. And they're called Heart Pearls. And that's really about all we're using. So for our packet, we will have, this is for your, the back of the flap of your envelope. You'll have a little piece of vellum, and you will have this one has a purple ribbon, but we're not using ribbon. Your card base is basic, thick basic white. I think that's right. Well, I'm off kilter this morning. So we are 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's your card base. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp our heart on the vellum. Vellum does not absorb the ink. It sits on top, so it takes a little while for it to dry. So I'm going to stamp it, and I've actually already stamped one earlier so that I made sure it was good and dry. And we're going to use this little heart image, and this is out of the Country Bouquet stamp set. Can't believe I forgot to bring that over here. And we're going to stamp it right down on our vellum. Hold it for a few seconds to let the ink get set in on the top. There we go. And that's all we're using the Melon Mambo for, and all we're using the little heart stamp for. So we are done with that. So for the rest of our stamping, we are going to, pardon me, we're going to fold our card base. Well, here I go with my allergies again. I apologize. I wished I could get rid of them, but nothing I take or do seems to have a great deal of effect on it. So here's our card base. And I think first of all we'll stamp our inside, and as I said, I'm making this into a Mother's Day card. So I think this is out of the Celebrating You stamp set. Again, I'll have all of the stamps and everything listed on my blog, which you can find at simplylovestampin.com. And then my online store is sherrymini.stampinup.net if you're interested in purchasing anything. And you can always reach me at my email at suaddicted@gmail.com. So for the Happy Mother's Day, we're going to use our other pink, which is the Polished Pink. This is one of the new in colors, or one of the in colors that will be going out when the current annual catalog retires, unless they decide to bring it out. I really expect there to be a color refresh this year. It's kind of, there have been a few hints about that. I'm going to see if this is, yeah. So it is a possibility they could bring it back as in the color refresh, but if they don't do a color refresh, this one is definitely going to retire. So we're going to stamp this. Okay. And then we also have a small little heart stamp that I'm going to use to decorate the inside and to decorate our envelope. So I just did about 3 of these, kind of however you want to do them. If there's no particular rhyme or reason. I just like to fill up the corner, have a little bit of pretty on the inside of the card to tie it in. And then same thing on the envelope. I hope I'm in shot here, ladies. If I'm not, I apologize. I'll move up a little bit. Well, we have another beautiful sunshiny day for a while today, and then we're having another major storm move in tomorrow. And tomorrow night, our low is supposed to be -8 degrees. So spring is on its way, but it's sure dragging its feet getting here. Okay, so now we're going to do our work on our inside of the front focal point of our card. Let me grab an extra sheet of cardstock here. And on this one, I have everything set up on the Stamparatus, and I actually have 2 Stamparatuses going here, but I don't know why I did that, but I did. So I think we'll just take this one off and just use one Stamparatus. Okay, we'll put make everything's tight in the corner. We'll put our cardstock on. Just put this kind of on the corner. Make sure this is somewhat lined up. Yep, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to ink up the stamp and the front saying, which is just wanted to say, and then what I'm stamping now is this heart. So we're going to take our polished pink, and we are going to ink this up. I hope you've all had a good week since last week. I had such a busy week last week. I had classes. We had a funeral at our church, and I'm the head of our kitchen team, and so we had to cook and feed and prepare food for 100 people. So that kept me very busy. And then this Sunday we had another event at our church that I had to just fix a light meal for. So it's been a crazy time here the last couple of weeks, and plus I'm trying to get my income tax done. Do y'all hate that as much as I do? Man, I hate it. All right, so here is our stamp. Now this is not a solid stamp, it's more like a color wash stamp, so you have different highlights and shadows, but this is the way it's supposed to look, and that stamped pretty darn well for the first time. Okay, then we're gonna put on this one is the one that has the leaves and everything that fills in, and I want to make sure that this stayed lined up pretty well. Looks pretty good. And this one we're going to ink with green. The nice thing about the Stamparatus, as long as you leave this piece of cardstock steady and don't move it, you can re-ink and re-stamp as many times as you need to. As you can see, I didn't get a good image up here. That's about the only spot. So there's still ink here. I'm just going to take my finger, my thumb, where I have a little more pressure. And I'm sorry this table moves every time I use this. I hope you don't get seasick. Okay, I think that's not too bad. I think we'll just go with that. Okay, put this off to the side. And close up my ink pad because we have done all the stamping. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our card base. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I do have plenty of those, so that's a good thing. I usually put quite a few just because, as I've said in the past, I'm a little overboard on the dimensionals, but I want them to, I always think about them running through the postal machines and how it squishes them down, and I would like them to at least stay somewhat raised. I watch some blogs where they just hardly use any, and some of them even cut them in half, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should try that. But then I do, and I don't like the way it looks. So for me, this is the way it's going to go. So I think that should hold it up pretty well. And then we'll take, I hope I have a pokey tool in here somewhere. I did have. There it is. We will take these off. Pokey tool works wonderfully to pull the backings off, because sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get them off, and if you don't like your fingers to get sticky. So this works really well. You just kind of stick your point in there and lift up and to the side a little bit, and they usually just come right off. Occasionally you'll have a stubborn one, or you get too many blanks on the end here. There we go. And then I have a little container. I try to put them in there so I don't have them all over my house, but it's not very successful most times. And then we're going to put this on the front, and you do have a little bit of a border on this. And we're just going to line this up at the front. You try to have the same amount of border, top, bottom, and sides as you can. All right, there's that. Now, here is the one that I stamped, the heart I stamped on the vellum. So we're going to take our punch. And this punch actually punches out 2 hearts at once, but I only made these kind of wide enough to get just the one, because that's all we need. You still will have a little bit of extra stuff punching out and flying around, but it's all good. All we want is this heart. Okay, and there's our heart. I stamped that in a different ink just so it'd be a little bit darker and show up on our card front. But I do like the fact that you can see the design through the heart. So I'm just going to take a little bit of multi-purpose glue, the green cap glue, and put a little bit in the center here. Now the one thing about vellum is your adhesive wants to show through. So I'm just going to take this and put it down in the middle, and then I hopefully will be able to cover up. If any of my adhesive is showing, I can cover it up. This does pretty well because the pattern below it is so busy, it doesn't really show that much. As you can see on this one, I used a bow for the centerpiece. This one I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I didn't really have a pink bow that I thought looked nice enough to use, so we're going to use these heart pearls. And they're a little small, but they don't look too bad actually. If I can get this out. There we go. So I'm just going to take one of the larger ones. Try and put it in the center of my card. Maybe twist it a little bit because I think, whoops, yeah, it went flying. Sometimes they're so small, it's hard for me to work with them. There we go. Could be a little bit bigger, but I don't think it's too bad. I don't know, I could think about putting small ones next to it, but I'm not so sure I want to do that. But let's give it a shot and see what it looks like. No, I don't think so. I'm just going to do one. I think it'll be fine. Okay, and then there is that. Now the only other thing we have left to do is to fix our envelope. I know this has to be just about like out of glue, but I keep squeezing some out of it, so I guess it's working. I always try to get right along the edges, so there's not an issue with the post office, so they don't like me anyway. Put my lid back on here so it doesn't dry out. Now this has flowers, and the plaid, I kind of like the check or whatever you want to call that. So I'm just going to use that. I just lay it right along the fold line of the flap. Push it down, make sure it's nice and adhered. You've seen this routine many times, so you know how it all works. Just take this. You have a little bit of glue right there. And we're just going to cut this off. And we will be done. So this video was a little more streamlined and not taking up so much of your time. So here we go. Here's the one we just did. Here's the one that we did in class. This one is a sympathy card, and this one is our Mother's Day card. So I hope you enjoyed that. I love this stamp set. I'll be using it, and if it retires, I will be keeping it because I just love the way it looks. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I want you to all know how much I appreciate you watching this. If anybody hasn't subscribed to my YouTube channel, that would be a big help to me. If you ever want to share one of my videos, that also helps me keep my analytics up so that I can stay active on YouTube. So hope you all have a beautiful day or evening whenever you're watching this, and may God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.